We're going to be discussing about rental issues and the things that people face here in our country, just tackling rent regulations in Nigeria and in Lagos. We have our guests who have promised to join us online via the phone lines, and we have our guests in the building as well. Are there any kind of registrations? Do you have to register to become a real estate agent?
Yeah, there are associations that you need to join.
That are known by the government?
Yeah, that are known by government.
Okay.
And we all know ourselves in the field. So if there's anyone that is not really, participating, they can easily fish them out.
Are there any fees that you need to pay to register to become a real estate agent?
Register, yes, there is an annual fee that we normally pay.
Okay.
The association level.
All right, great. So we're going to start with the story that I painted. And this is true life story. This happened to me. I mean, true life story. In this instant, who was at fault? Was I at fault? Did you get the story that I painted? I wanted to get the house. This guy showed me the house. But then he told me that the landlord doesn't live in Nigeria. He probably, maybe, wanted to, do some mago or probably cut corners to get some funds or some fees out of me. But then I didn't go ahead with the deal with him. So it was another agent that took me to that same house and I sealed the deal. So when the guy found out, he now came attacking me. In fact, he came with other real estate agents to meet me and say, you did this to us. Because usually, when there's a house, there's a line. Yeah, there's a lineup of many agents that are, So do you think I was at fault? Do you think at the point where I met the landlord, I should have called that first agent and to say that, this is the same house that you showed me. Let's seal the deal with him. Or the way I went ahead with this man, you think it was okay? Or was the guy at fault? Can you just
of course,
run us through?
Since he has his own fault,
okay, by
not telling you the truth, and you have found another way to get what you want, you are not at fault. But if it is a situation whereby he has taken you to a particular place and you later go to the back and say you look at the landlord or you go to the landlord straight, and that means you be at fault. But in this scenario, you are not at fault at all.
Are there any rules or should I say some sort of constitution now, if we put it that way, governing the deals between real estate consultants and tenants or people who are trying to get houses? Because in this instant now, by what law am I binding in this deal? If I go back to meet the landlord, how am I wrong?
Okay.
Because I just decided to go and meet the landlord. How am I wrong?
You will be wrong if you have consulted somebody. It's just like when you engage a lawyer and once you have already engaged him, you bid your lawyer to do whatever. But if you do anything outside, then you are on your own. The reason why you need to follow that man, for example, who has shown you the house in the first instance, if anything happens, you'll be the first person to fall back on and say, this guy took me to this particular house. Why? What happened? You understand? But if you have gone to the bar, at his bar, then you are on your own. And that is why we are trying to protect. That, you have come to me, please let me finish my own part of the business before you jump to another person.
Wow, interesting. So we're going to look at lots of issues as regards rent, landlords, and all of that. You can call us on our phone line 090-8764-3339. And surely you're with us right now on our social media platforms. You can just throw in your questions and comments. The professional, the real estate consultant is here to answer all your questions. Now, I want to ask you, on the average, this is just for information's sake now, on the average, where would you say is the proper, or is that place where you can get an average, say, 2-bedroom flat? This is just a random question, just for in case someone is listening and they want to get a place. In Lagos, and you have around, say, 400 to 500, and you can get a nice, peaceful apartment, so like 2-bedroom flat or something. So we're just acting like real estate agents for free today. Just or let me ask you, first of all, what is the most peaceful part to get a house on the average in Lagos mainland now? Average. Say you're not on the low end of the market, and you're not looking to maybe 3 million, but just on the average, what's the most peaceful place to rent a house? That's such that you have peaceful coexistence with your landlord and the neighbors.
Well, in the mainland, Bagada is one of the best.
Okay, it's quite expensive.
Yeah, but it's a little bit expensive. Other areas that you can get something, are really okay. Talk about Ogudu,
Okay.
Ojota.
Okay.
What again?
Okay.
For Laguru.
All right. Just free service there. We'll get more. We'll get more off of you. Now, I want to ask you, why do we have so much charges on rent? We have the lawyer's fee. We have the agreement. We have sometimes bond. I'm not sure if they still do that. But I've lived in Abuja for a couple of years, and I know that in Abuja it's only 5% of your rent that you have to pay. Nothing more, nothing less. That is all you pay. You don't pay any lawyers, anything. Why is it different in Lagos? And for the sake of this topic, we are going to, put our lenses majorly, or for the most part of it, in Lagos, because some of these things happen majorly in Lagos. Why do we have so much on top of rent? Because if your rent is 400, for instance, the other expenses that people like Mr. Tokwe gets to enjoy, shall I say? Why do we have that? Why is it so?
Thank you very much. You see, the real estate business is not really being controlled properly by the government, and that is why all these things are happening. And you can see a situation whereby a landlord will be the one to collect the rent, collect the agreement, collect the caution, collect service charge. The only thing that is coming to the agent is the commission. The same commission, some landlord will still say, no, I'm not going to give.
So which one is the commission amongst all of these that you mentioned?
Now. All the ones that I've mentioned, we have the rent, the agreement fee, the caution fee that is refundable deposit, then the service charge for a whole year, let's say for this, for that, utilities, security, and all that. That's service charge. Then the only one that is meant for the agent is known as the agency fee. Okay. Which is
that a percentage of the rent or the total fee that you pay?
It's a percentage.
What percentage?
It ranges from 10% to 20%. Why it is as high as 20% is because some of the landlord don't release part of this money to.
Wow. Most of the agents that I've used, I promise you, they don't have offices. They probably just be chilling under the tree or something. I'm telling you, they don't have. So how do you know?
No, they have a place they are using. So you can come in, I can come and meet you at the junction.
Yes, that's.
But at the same time,
or eatery, it's usually eatery.
I have a place that I use. If you say, okay, where is the office? I'll tell you, come to Susu place, meet me at Susu place.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I think we have one of our learned colleagues now, a legal practitioner who promised to join us online. Kayode promised to join us. Hello, Kayode.
I can hear you.
All right, great. So let's move ahead. Thanks so much for joining us. I think my initial question was, what are the rules or regulations, or do we have any sort of constitution that protects the landlord, the tenant, and the real estate agents as regards agreements? Because I have Tokwe here who's a real estate consultant, and he's just confirmed to me that most times the landlord just decides on how much they want to give the agents or how much is decided to collect from tenants. So do we have any governing body that presides on top of this?
No. So in regards to a governing body,
yes,
per se, maybe not in that regard.
Okay.
But we have a standard practice.
Okay.
And we have tenancy law.
Okay.
In which there are various provisions. For instance, the appropriate agency fee is 10%.
Okay.
The appropriate legal fee is also 10% when you are renting a premises.
Okay.
Yes. So, of recent, I might disagree with what the other guests in the studio have said.
Okay.
In the sense that it's the landlord that are arbitrarily deciding what to give the agent.
Okay.
Now, there might be situations like that, because he also, I'm sure, is speaking from his experience,
yes,
on the field and also in his capacity as an estate agent. But from my experience and from what I've seen usually, it is the agents, right, that are the ones that do not pay attention to that 10% anymore.
Okay.
So you have a larger number of agents tell you that it is 20% they are going to collect. It is, which is outside the standard practice of 10%. They tell you, oh, we are going to collect 20%. But you don't ever hear that the legal fee is increased to 20%. The legal fee is always 10%, right?
Yeah.
But why some of these agents do this is because by virtue of how their industry is, one person might not be the person that has a direct link to the landlord.
Yes.
So you might discover that at the end of the day, there might be 2 or 3 of them involved in that transaction.
Okay. Great.
So when it's time for them to divide that 10%, it now becomes too small.
Is this true?
And they now collectively agree within themselves to increase it to 20%.
Okay.
Now, this is my experience. Now, I am not saying what the gentleman in your studio said is wrong. He may definitely be speaking from his own experience, but I'm speaking from my experience.
All right.
So that is what I have seen.
All right. Thank you so much for that answer. Really insightful. Now, let's move on to, I was telling him about my experience in Abuja. I know that in Abuja, all that is charged for a tenant is just 5 or 10% at most when you are getting an apartment. Why is it different in Lagos where we get the what are the fees? You pay for the lawyer, you pay agreement, you pay caution and all of that. Why is it different? And people find this very stressful.
Okay. Like I said, it's standard practice for 10% legal, 10% agency. That's the standard practice.
Yeah, but from my experience, sorry to cut you.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry to cut you. From my experience in Abuja, it's just 10%, nothing more, nothing less. So you are not being charged for lawyer, but maybe for some reason it's even 5%. So, but maybe they've included the lawyer's fees in this, but I don't know. But my question is, why is it different in Lagos? Why do we have separate for lawyers?
Now, parties can always agree, and the discretion always lies with the person giving you the premises.
Okay.
Now, let's assume the premises you are renting is a very expensive premises.
Okay.
Let's say you are asked to be paying about 5 million or 8 million per year. The person giving out the premises might decide, okay, maybe I have my own standard legal document
to
give my tenant.
Okay.
Right? I can waive the fee for you in that regard. Right? But standard practice is 10%. However, parties always amend the agreement to suit themselves. When I mean themselves, I don't mean the selfish way, or I mean to suit all the parties, to have a win-win for all parties involved in that transaction.
All right, thank you so much. All right, thank you very much. Just hang on the line now. We're going to come back to talk right now and just confirm that. Let's just, because I see he's nodding his head. Let's just confirm that. We will get back to you in just a bit. Is it true that sometimes, because we're beginning to, make investigations now, we're digging deep and we're finding out, is it true that sometimes agents now increase the percentages that the tenants are supposed to pay such that they can pay themselves since there are lots of them?
Yes, he has just confirmed it to us now, and that is the truth. It's one of those reasons why agency can go as far as 20%. So if we see that like 4 or 5 people are on the same transactions, and another thing that we need to understand is this: in our agency practice, or which we do here, is that if you are the lead in a particular transaction, anything that comes out as the commission, the principal agent takes 50%.
All right, now moving further, we'll just see a video that is key to this discussion and of course very insightful, talking about how to properly evict a tenant. I'm very happy to see this one.
For that, let me just dive into the 3 steps you need to comply with to lawfully evict your tenants, your stubborn tenants in Nigeria. Step number 1, notice to quit. This is what people call quit notice. Yes, quit notice. So this notice to quit is the duration of time you are giving your tenant, like between this period of time, please, Mr. Man, find another house, because at the expiration of this notice, or before the expiration, I want you out of my house. So this notice to quit have to be in compliance with the tenancy agreement you had with that tenant. But if the tenancy agreement does not have any stipulation as regarding the notice to quit, or you don't even have any tenancy agreement at all with the tenant, what you will do is the law will apply here. So for a tenant at will is someone you just put in your house. There is no agreement, maybe he's not even paying rent. For instance, someone that actually stay in Lagos and have a property in Abuja, and the person is just like, I don't want that house to be empty, I need to put someone in the house, and just put a particular lady or a couple to occupy the house. So that tenant is the tenant at will. At the will of the landlord, he put them there, and at his will, he can actually tell them to leave. So such tenants, even though he or she is not paying rent, deserve a 1 week notice to quit. And for someone who pays rent every month, like the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, or at the end of the month, the monthly tenant, the tenant deserve a 1 month notice to quit. And for a tenant that pay quarterly, such tenant deserve 3 months notice to quit. And for a tenant that pay rent every 6 months, deserve 3 months notice to quit. And for a tenant that pay annually, deserve 6 months notice to quit. Step 2. If at the expiration of this notice to quit, the tenant is still so stubborn, adamant, is still staying in the house comfortably, the next thing you do is serve him a 7-day notice of owner's intention to recover possession. This is just a long phrase of word that actually means at the end of this 7 days, if you are still in my house, I'm proceeding to court to file an action against you. So 7 day owner's intention to recover possession. And if at the expiration of this 7-day notice, the tenant is still in the house, the next thing you do is brief your lawyer, engage your lawyer, file an action against him in court. And I know many tenants, once they get the 7-day owner's intention, it's a sort of threat to them, like, hey, this man is taking me to court, or more, I need to leave his house. Though it's not a threat in the street sense actually, but that's how many tenants feel. So they're always on their toe, and they want to move away from the property. And let me advise you as the tenant, those are just the 3 steps you need to comply with as a landlord. But let me advise you as the tenant, before you sign any tenancy agreement, always endeavor to read through. And if you don't understand some of the terms, it's better you give it to your lawyer to read through, to peruse it, and advise you appropriately if to sign it or to review some of the terms. Because some tenants don't know that they have signed away some of their rights away in the tenancy agreement. They will just say like, okay, I trust my landlord. I've been staying with him I've been staying in his house for 3 years, and he's a father to me, he's a mother to me. I trust him. He can't do this, he can't do that. Many tenants, sometimes maybe a tenant that pay yearly. In the tenancy agreement, you might just have it there that deserve a 1 month notice, and that will be binding because you have signed it. So it is always important for you to always read through carefully before you sign a tenancy agreement. So as a sort of recap, the first step is notice to quit. The second step is serve a 7-day owner's intention to recover possession, and the third one is file an action in court.
There is no law, active law, at least, that restricts landlords from increasing rent.
So what you are saying basically is a landlord can wake up and increase the rent by any percentage that he likes or he wishes, and in how many years, if he can do it yearly. That's what you're saying. He can do it as he wishes. No law guides that.
No. So what I'm saying is there are factors that guide that.
Okay, so
some of the factors is what I am stating. So, like I said, a landlord will still be guided by those factors.
Okay.
Even if they are increasing rent. So a landlord cannot just come and say, my rent is 2 million this year, tomorrow it's going to be 10. No. They are still guided by the prices of property in that area. And the last time the rent was increased. So for instance, some agreements some landlord and tenant agreements have a clause that says that rent will not be increased for maybe 3 to 5 years, right? And that is the agreement of parties. So parties can also agree within themselves, right? Okay, I'll pay now, but it cannot increase rent for the next 3 to 5 years or for the next 4 years. You know, those are the considerations that are made in determining rent, not just arbitrary increase as you deem fit. No, you look at all these factors, and that is what guides your decision on rent.
All right, thank you so much, Adedumade, for joining us. Let's hope that, I don't know if you have your own house, but let's hope that my landlord doesn't wake up tomorrow to increase the rent now that I know that these are the things surrounding it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us today. We've finished the topic, but we promise to probably bring you back in the studio again, and then we can continue more on just tackling rent and regulations in Nigeria and in Lagos. So whatever you do, rounding off now, whatever you do when you go out to rent, talk to professionals, lawyers, and of course have lawyers as your friends so that they can guide you properly. Do well not to fall in the hands of scam. I'm DJ Mercury, and bye for now.